be making today. Say goodbye to your plain old Jane chocolate chip cookie. I have 3 new awesome cookies to share with you. You guys know that whenever I share a recipe on my YouTube, it is truly because it is worth it. It is so good. First cookie I'm gonna be sharing with you are these salted dark chocolate and almond cookies. So good, so unique. It just mixes up your average Joe chocolate chip cookie to the next level. And when I first saw these, I thought, the almonds, I like almonds, but I don't know if I really like them in my cookies. Yes, they're so good. Secondly, I've shared these ones with you before, but they are so easy. They are so delicious that anybody will like them, and they are for our gluten-free friends. They come with 4 ingredients: peanut butter, eggs, brown sugar, vanilla. Hands down, easiest, fastest cookie recipe, crowd pleaser, and yes, our gluten-free friends can enjoy them. So good. And then lastly, I found this recipe off cookingclassy.com about a month ago. I've tried them now several times. Several people have asked for the recipe that have tried those cookies, so I'm here to say this is in the new rotation. But I didn't realize that Neiman Marcus were known for their cookies. I mean, I think that I remember that. Never tried them before. So I found a copycat recipe online. Some really cool different ingredients that I think you're gonna love, that I think just really make this cookie extra awesome. So let's go bake these together. I'm gonna share with you how I make these. We're gonna make them together, and I'm gonna show you the end product. So for our first cookie, we are gonna be making the salted dark chocolate almond cookies. And I haven't made these for a couple years, but I remember finding them. They are by Fit Mit Kitchen, and they are so good. You're gonna do 1 cup wheat flour, so it's part wheat flour, and then it's part white all-purpose. You can do all wheat, but I think it gives it a different type of texture. So I'm adding 1 cup of whole wheat, 1 cup of regular flour here. It's also part butter, part coconut oil, which is kind of funny. So it's like half healthy, half just a regular cookie, but these are such good cookies. They are unique. Mix this together with a whisk. Do 1 teaspoon of baking soda here, half a teaspoon of salt. I always bake with salted butter, and I always bake with my sea salt. This is pink Himalayan sea salt. I feel like sometimes baked good recipes are undersalted, so I am all about a good hint of salt. Calls for a 1/4 cup of softened coconut oil. Because it is warm outside, my coconut oil is already softened, so I don't need to worry about heating it up at all. We're gonna cream the oil, the butter, and the sugars together. So let's put this in my KitchenAid mixer. When I bake, I try to use as quality ingredients as possible. So I love using as well as cooking with Kerrygold butter. It's grass-fed. It just tastes, I believe, extra delicious. So I'm gonna cut that in half. 1 stick butter, 1/4 a cup of softened coconut oil. And then for the sugars, we have 3/4 cup brown sugar. It actually calls for dark brown, which I do not have. So I am just using what I got here. Got 1/4 cup white sugar in there. I'm gonna use my paddle attachment and hook this on and start to cream those together. Now we're gonna add 1 large egg, a teaspoon of vanilla, and half a teaspoon of almond extract, which, because these cookies have almonds in it, it just gives it a little bit of a warmer, richer flavor. So I always just like to estimate here. There we go. Blend that together. It's hard to see, but this is really beautifully creamed together. And now it's time to add our dry ingredients to our wet. I'm gonna add a little bit, about, I don't know, half or so. And then I'm gonna get this mixing on very low speed before I add the rest. You'll notice that this dough is definitely gonna be a lot thicker than most cookies. Okay, now that it's almost fully incorporated, but not 100%, so I'm gonna add our chopped almonds. I'm just kind of going through and making sure that there's not any super huge chunks. And this is about 2/3 cup chopped almonds, so I'm gonna add these in. Lastly, it said to chop up a 3.5 ounce dark chocolate bar. So I had a couple mini chocolate bars that I purchased at Trader Joe's that I chopped up here, and then I did a little bit of milk chocolate just to mix it up. Cutting your own chocolate gives your cookies such a beautiful, rich flavor. Chocolate chips actually have a lot of preservatives and stabilizers in them, where when you chop your own chocolate, it just melts more beautifully and it looks more professional, in my opinion. So beautiful. So again, I'm gonna be refrigerating all of my dough and baking it tomorrow so I can show you guys what it looks like. So now for the peanut butter cookies, I have shared these on here before, but I thought I would include them again because this is a great gluten-free option for those of your guests that are gluten-free, or if you just love a good peanut butter cookie, these are so delicious. So you only need 4 ingredients. The first ingredient is peanut butter. My personal favorite peanut butter is the natural peanut butter from Trader Joe's, the creamy. Second ingredient is room temperature eggs. Third ingredient is brown sugar. And your last ingredient is vanilla. That is it, you guys. Such an easy cookie. So you're gonna wanna start off by whisking together. You can do it in your mixer or just by hand. You're gonna wanna whisk together your brown sugar and your eggs. So we need 1 3/4 cup brown sugar. So that's what I'm adding here first. Add my eggs. Room temperature eggs, you can just leave them out for like an hour or so. And if you're in a rush, a little tip is that you can soak your eggs in like a cup of lukewarm water for a few minutes to kind of bring their temperature down. And the eggs, when the eggs are warm, it just helps everything blend together a little bit smoother. Whisk these together until it's smooth. Super smooth. Time to add the peanut butter and vanilla. Smitten Kitchen at the end says if you use a jar of Skippy peanut butter, it's about 1 3/4 cup. The whole jar is what you need. So I am just going to assume that this is similar, and I'm just gonna dump this in and not measure it. I gave it a good stir. Okay, the last ingredient is just 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, and then you are gonna wanna mix it. And side note, if you don't have one of these narrow spatulas, this is a this is a kitchen game changer. I'm obsessed. This is the OXO brand, but it's really good. Mix it until it is fully smooth. All right, this cookie comes together in literally minutes. See here how beautiful the dough is. It just has such a nice creamy texture, and it's amazing that just peanut butter, eggs, and sugar, vanilla come out to be such a chewy, delicious cookie. This is one of my husband's absolute favorites. So in order to get the ripples that you see in Smitten Kitchen's recipe, she suggests chilling your dough. And I'm gonna actually cook these tomorrow, so my dough is gonna be nice and chilled. I'm going to transfer this to another bowl so I can make another cookie. Okay, so our third and final cookie is gonna be the Neiman Marcus famous chocolate chip cookie, which I honestly hadn't tried until about a month ago, and now I love it. I've actually passed the recipe on to a couple other people. So let's mix our dry ingredients together. We have 1 3/4 cup white all-purpose flour, and then the most unique ingredient about this cookie is that you use oats, which I actually blend up in my Vitamix. So this is 2.5 cups of old-fashioned oats. I use gluten-free, the ones from Trader Joe's, and I blended it up so it almost has a flour-like texture. But you can blend oats dry in your mixer, which is really cool. So I am just going to use a whisk and mix these two together. The oats give it a very unique texture and flavor, almost like this warm, nutty texture. It's hard to explain, but it's really good. And I don't know, I think it's fun to just mix up your standard old chocolate chip cookies sometimes. This recipe also calls for walnuts, which I just realized I didn't have a ton of, maybe like a 1/4 cup. So we're just gonna have a few walnuts, but the girl that actually bakes these says she does without. So 3/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon baking soda, teaspoon of baking powder. Whisk your dry ingredients. Instead of stirring it, it kind of aerates the dry flour, and it just, I believe, mixes things up a lot better, gets rid of any clumps, keeps it light and fluffy. So we're gonna cream our butter and our sugar. So it calls for 1 cup of softened butter, which is 2 sticks or a whole block of Kerrygold. So I'm going to add this here. It says softened but still firm. Calls for dark brown sugar. Usually everything calls for like 1 cup brown sugar, 1 cup white sugar. 1 cup. Brown. And 2 teaspoons of vanilla. So I'm gonna add the vanilla. And our 2 eggs. Again, these have been room temperature now for an hour and a half. 2 eggs. So, little tip for you, if you're using a mixer or a hand mixer, don't over whip your eggs. It'll make the cookies tougher. So you just want to do just enough to where it's blended, but not overly blended. Dry texture. So I'm gonna add, again, about half of this, and then I'm gonna put it on a low speed and start blending it in slowly before I add the rest. It's a very grimy, gritty texture. These textures of all these cookies are so different than your standard. So for the chocolate chips, it called for 4 ounces of milk chocolate and a whole package of semi-sweet. But because I had the dark chocolate on hand, the milk chocolate, and then I had these mini semi-sweet chocolate chips, I thought it would be fun to incorporate all the different chocolate. Having the 3 different types of chocolate are, again, gonna make these super special, just unique tasting, decadent, flavorful. We're gonna get different variations of melt on them. And there we go. Really quickly. Okay, pretty good. So before I add these, I'm actually gonna remove some of this dough to keep it totally nut-free, since I just realized the other 2 batches have nuts. I don't believe everybody's nut-free, but just in case, I'm gonna remove some of this dough, and then I'll do some with nuts and some without. You can see this texture, so beautiful. Look at that. Look at that texture. Looks so good. I'm gonna remove some and put it in a baggie. So there you guys have it. Our final cookie, Neiman Marcus cookie. All the doughs will chill until tomorrow, and then I'm gonna show you how they bake up. That was fun. Thanks for baking with me, guys. Tonight I'm hosting a dinner for my mom's group. We haven't been able to see each other since March. It's potluck style, everyone's just coming over. You can see I've got some flowers behind me. I'm gonna set my table. I'm literally making one thing and the cookies. I thought it'd be fun to do a dessert bar and do like a cookie dessert bar, cook it all, because there's nothing better than fresh baked chocolate chip cookies. Oven's ready, so I'm gonna put the first batch in. I'll be right back. There, let's get to baking. Today I had, after the dough was refrigerated a little bit, I had pre-scooped it, put it in a Ziploc bag, and I froze these overnight. So while it's preheating, I would get out your cookies, or you can bake them as is. I'm lined the baking sheet with parchment paper. Here are the salted dark chocolate almond chunk cookies. I'm just gonna put them here on the baking sheet, and then I'm gonna sprinkle them with some sea salt right now. If you're baking cookies and it requires sea salt on top, this is my This is the only sea salt I recommend. You can actually find these in a lot of grocery stores, or you can order on Amazon. And so they're perfect for, see how pretty those are? They're really perfect for sprinkling on top of cookies. So you can see here that I fit 12 on a baking pan, where a lot of standard size baking sheets, you can only fit 9 cookies. So 12 it is, which is why I love these extra large baking sheets. I'm about to put the peanut butter cookies in.